calabash head of yours, shouldn't you be happy that the prince wants to make you his wife? If not for the love and trust I have for your mother, I would have questioned if truly you are my daughter, because a true daughter of mine, who carries my blood in her vein, knows a good thing when she sees one. Then disown me. If you're tired of me being your daughter, instead of insulting me every day and regretting my existence, tell me I am not your child anymore and I will leave. Nkilu said and walked away from her father. Although she had no place to go, if she had left her father's house, she was just fed up with the inconstant ridicules from her father. That night, Akuna, Nkilu's mother, entered her room for a heart-to-heart discussion with her daughter, who was still bitter about her father's harsh word. You shouldn't be angry with your father, Akuna said. He's just concerned about you. But he hates me because I don't look the way he wants me to look, or as beautiful as you are. He can say anything about my look, but he shouldn't force or expect me to marry a man like Prince Ebuka, a man who ridicules me at every chance he gets. Akana looked at her daughter carefully and asked, "But how much do you know about Shike? I know you met him in the forest after he was attacked by a bandit, but you still don't know much about him or where he comes from." "I have asked him several times, Mama, but he doesn't remember. He has lost memories about his past or where he comes from. The bandit who beat him had left him in that condition." Akona nodded and simply added, "But what if he's lying to you?" Nkilu was taken aback by her mother's words. She had never thought about that concerning Shike. Her mother continued, "He seems like a good man. Yes, and he seems like he truly loves you, and you love him back. But you shouldn't marry a man without identity. You are not even sure if his real name is Shike. I am not saying you should accept Prince Ebuka's proposal. You are the one to make that decision, not us, your parents. But please take your time to know more about him. It doesn't matter if he's the only one that likes you the way you are. To me, you are still priceless, regardless of your look." After listening to her mother's advice, Nkilu made up her mind to visit Shike early the next morning to make more inquiries about him again, about who he truly was. Although he had told her he didn't remember much about himself, hopefully, maybe asking him about it again will regain his memories. Very early the next morning, Nkilu was a short distance from Shike's house when she saw some palace guards entering inside, armed with machetes and cutlasses. A few seconds later, the guards dragged Shike out and dragged him away. Nkilu rushed to them, demanding what was going on, but the guards simply replied that it was the prince's commands and took Shike away. Nkilu rushed to the palace, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and anger. When she arrived, she found Prince Ebuka in the middle of a lively discussion and celebration with his friends, laughing and drinking as if nothing were happening. Without thinking, she rushed in and asked him with a firm voice, "Why do you send your guards to arrest Shike? He has done nothing wrong. You are doing this because I refused your proposal, right?" The room fell silent as every eye turned to Nkilu. Prince Ebuka looked up at her, pretending to be surprised at her. "Nkilu, you shouldn't be so full of yourself," he said. "Arresting Shike has nothing to do with you, with your rejection of my proposal." Nkilu, refusing to believe what he said, "Then why, Prince? Why did you have him arrested?" "Well, there has been a report of a traitor in the village. Someone who is conspiring against the kingdom, especially since the village water source was contaminated. Shike is the only newcomer here. Nobody knows him, and nobody knows where he comes from. It is simply a matter of precaution." Nkilu's anger fled at his word. Precaution? Shike has done nothing wrong and helped the people in this village. He's kind, loyal, has never shown any sign of betrayal. That's just an excuse, isn't it? Prince Ebuka's eyes flashed with anger, but he quickly masked it. "I don't need to justify my actions to you, Nkilu," he said coldly. "As the prince of this kingdom, it is my duty to protect this kingdom. Shike's background is suspicious. Until we know more about him, he will remain in the palace custody. And moreover, when do you start talking back at me?" Nkilu's voice trembled with emotion. This isn't right. You know it. You are doing this because of I choose Shike over you. Prince Ebuka's friends exchanged an easy glance. Sensing the tension in the room, the prince stood up with anger. Enough, Nkilu, he snapped. You will not accuse me of such pettiness in my own palace. Shike will be questioned, and if he's innocent, he will be released. But until then, stay out of this. Nkilu's heart ached at the thought of Shike being imprisoned for something he didn't do. But she knew there was no need to argue further with the prince. You may have the power now, Prince Ebuka, she said to him. But the truth will come out, and when it does, I hope you will be judged by your action. You will see about that. Get out of here with that big head of yours, Prince Ebuka said. For 4 days, Nkilu wasn't in her right mind. She couldn't go to the forest to search for herbs, which has been her favorite thing to do, and she couldn't even find the appetite to eat. Her mother pleaded with her, assuring her things would go well, but Nkilu knew they wouldn't. The thought of Shike being in misfortune and being treated unjustly because of her haunts her. After days of thorough consideration, she made up her mind to go to the palace and accept Prince Ebuka's proposal, hoping that he would release Shike. It is better for her to be in a loveless marriage than have an innocent man jailed for a crime he did not commit. The next morning, Nkilu made her way to the palace, her heart heavy with sadness. As she approached the palace entrance, she paused, hearing voices from inside. Quietly, she moved closer and overheard Prince Ebuka talking to one of his friends. I am only proposing to Nkilu because my father insisted, the prince said. He believes that her knowledge of herbs makes her an asset that could help place our kingdom above all others. But let me tell you, nothing could have made me marry such an ugly girl with a big head like a calabash. Nkilu's breath caught in her throat, her heart pounding as she listened. She couldn't believe she was hearing that. Prince Ebuka continued, and that guy, Shike, I hate him. I hate him because that ugly girl chose him over me, a crown prince. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the embarrassment? How dare she? I plan to eliminate him as soon as possible. I have told the guard to get me a poison to add to his meal. It will be a clean job because I don't want his death linking back to me. Nkilu was shocked and as well angry. She had always known that Prince Ebuka's intentions were not pure, but hearing him speak so bad about Shike was almost too much to hear. She took in a deep breath, steadying herself. She knew she had to be careful now, more than ever. Pushing down her emotions, Nkilu composed herself and enters the palace, pretending she had nothing. Prince Ebuka looked up in surprise when he saw her. Nkilu, he said, masking his entire frustration with a smile. What brings you here so early? Immediately, Nkilu knelt down. Her eyes lowered as she spoke. My prince, I have come to tell you that I have reconsidered your proposal and now accept it. I will be your wife. The prince's eyes widened in surprise, clearly not expecting this sudden surprise. What made you change your mind? He asked. Nkilu kept her voice steady, her face expressionless. I thought for days, my prince. You are the crown prince, and you can give me a better life than Shike could. Look at me. No noble man would want me. I decided to put my feelings aside and make a logical choice. Prince Ebuka stared at her for a moment, as if trying to check whether she was being sincere. Finally, he smiled. I knew you would put your foolishness aside and say reasons. You have made the right choice. Nkilu forced a small smile, although her heart was heavy with the knowledge of what she had just heard. Thank you, my prince, she said softly. But before we move forward, I have one request. What is it? The prince asked. Please, Nkilu said, her voice trembling. Grant me one last chance to see Shike. Let me say my goodbyes to him. I promise I won't ask for anything more. Prince Ebuka paused for a moment. He didn't like the idea of her seeing Shike, especially now that they had agreed to marry. Very well. Although I would have loved for you to reject him in front of the whole village, for everyone to watch. It would have been a pleasant sight, the prince said. But you may see him tomorrow, but only for a brief moment. Nkiru nodded and bowed her head. "Thank you, my prince." As she stood to leave, Nkiru's mind was racing. She knew she had to act quickly to save Shike. When Nkiru got home, she dived into action and started making potions. She didn't sleep throughout the night because she only had limited time. The potion she was making was a tough one, which could also cost Shike his life if she wasn't careful. After hours of mixing herbs and leaves, her potions were finally ready. This potion will make Shike to go into a deep sleep for 24 hours, likewise putting his heartbeat to a pulse. It was a dangerous potion, and she likewise had plans of how to retrieve him back. However, Nkiru prayed many times that everything would go as planned, and that she wouldn't end up killing the man she loves. It was better that she controlled his life than Ebuka killing him. The next morning, just as Prince Ebuka promised, Nkiru was granted permission to see Shike. When Nkiru entered the palace prison, Shike was so excited to see him. He hugged her dearly and kissed her. And without wasting time, Nkiru handed Shike the potion. She told him to trust her, that he should just drink the potion, but that the potion would make him look like he is dead. But before 24 hours, she will revive him back to life. Without question, Shike took the potion from Nkiru and told her that he trusts her with his life. He drank the whole potion without even a second thought. Immediately after Shike had drunk the potion, his heartbeat stopped. He dropped on the floor as if he were dead. Nkiru left the palace right away and ran back home so no one could suspect her. A few minutes later, the guard who wanted to give Shike the poisoned food, as instructed by Prince Ebuka, arrived, but on getting there, he saw Shike's lifeless body. The guard immediately went to alert the prince about it, and the prince wasn't even concerned. "Really? He's indeed dead? Well, he made work easier for us. Go toss his body away in the forest," Prince Ebuka ordered. While the guards carried Shike's lifeless body to drop in the forest, one of the guards noticed a mark on Shike's neck. This mark wasn't a scar, but a stamp, which he knew very well. "What is it? What are you looking at? Do you know that mark?" the other guards asked him. But the guard who saw the mark hesitated and said, "No, it is nothing. Let's go." Immediately the guards were done and went back to the village. The guard who saw the stamp excused himself and told the other guard that he needed to go somewhere and immediately rushed away. On the other hand, when the two guards had dumped Shike in the thick forest, Nkiru, who had been following them, came out from her hiding place and rushed to Shike. She firstly opened his mouth and began to pour the potion which would revive Shike's heartbeat to bring him back to life. But after she had made him drink the potion, nothing worked. Shike didn't wake up. Nkiru's heart skipped and she burst into tears, fearing that she had killed the man she loved in an attempt to save him. She began hitting his heart at the same time, calling out his name, and after several attempts, Shike sneezed and woke up. Nkiru hugged him so dearly with joyful tears, and Shike hugged her back. They sat there in the forest holding onto each other while Nkiru told him everything that happened and why he gave him the potion. Shike was sad to hear about it. "My love," Shike said, "I think it's best if we go to another village and begin afresh, because no one wants us here except your mother. Since you did all this to save me, Prince Ebuka will never stop hunting us, and this time I fear he will harm you too." Nkiru thought of what Shike said. His suggestion seems okay, but running away meant accepting defeat, and besides, they had done nothing wrong for Prince Ebuka to hurt them. It was merely because of his own selfish reason. And moreover, she can't leave her mother just like that. Nkiru turned to Shike and said, "No, we won't run away. We have done nothing wrong to live in hiding. Do rest today. Tomorrow, we will both go to the village and confront Prince Ebuka," Nkiru said with determination. Shike sighed, knowing fully well that the woman he loves is one who will never run away in time of danger. "Fine, if you say so," he replied and placed a quick kiss on her forehead. Together, they spent the night in the forest without any problem. The next morning, the both began walking back to the village, even more determined than they were last night. Back in the village, the prince was furious. He had gone to Nkilu's house to bring her to the palace so he could announce their engagement to everyone, but her parents told her she was nowhere to be found since yesterday. Prince Ebuka, sensing that she might have played him again, just like she did the first time, thought about this and were even more angry. He gathered the whole village to make announcements. He told the whole village that anyone who ever saw Nkilu should bring her to the palace for immediate punishment. Just then, Nkilu and Shike walked in, and Prince Ebuka was immediately pissed when he saw Shike. "How come you are alive?" he said in anger. "I thought you were dead." "Well, that's because I prevented your plan to kill him, you evil man," Nkilu snapped at him. Immediately after Nkilu said the words, Prince Ebuka rushed to her to slap her, but Shike prevented him and held his hand. "Don't you dare lay your filthy hands on her," Shike said with rage. Prince Ebuka was shocked to see that Shike was talking back at him boldly. "You pig man with that ugly looking scar, how dare you talk back at me, the prince of this kingdom, like that?" Prince Ebuka said in anger, "I don't care if you are the prince of the whole world, but if you dare lay your hands on her, I will tear you apart." Shike warned him in full range. Prince Ebuka was surprised and rushed to Shike to attack him, but just as he was about to hit him, the guard who had carried Shike's body to the forest and was surprised to see the stamp on his neck walked in with the royal emperor. The royal emperor is the supreme monarch who is the highest monarch that governs 7 kingdoms, including Prince Ebuka's kingdom. On seeing the emperor, everyone was shocked by his sudden visit to their land and immediately kneeled and bowed to greet him, including Prince Ebuka. Hearing that the royal emperor came to visit their land, Prince Ebuka's father, the king, rushed out to greet him and bowed to him. His loyal emperor, "Your Highness, you are welcome to our kingdom. To what do we owe this sudden visit? You never told us you were coming," Prince Ebuka's father, the king, said. The loyal emperor didn't say anything. Instead, he looked around and suddenly his eyes rested on Shike with a surprised yet compassionate look. The emperor quickly went to Shike and pulled him up from the ground. He shook the back of his neck and saw the mark there, and he pulled him closer and embraced him. "My son!" Everyone was shocked. "Shike, my son. So you are alive," the emperor said with tears in his eyes. "I heard you were attacked and dead." Shike was surprised too. He looked at the old man for some minutes and then said, "Papa, is this you?" "Yes, it is me," the emperor said. Shike looked at the emperor closely and then burst into tears. "Papa," he said again, and the both hugged each other. "It is okay, my son," the emperor said. "When a guard came yesterday and told me that you were in this kingdom, but that he discarded your body, I had to come and see your body myself. But I'm surprised to see that you are alive," the emperor said in tears. "I could have been, but thanks to this beautiful lady here, the love of my life was saved," Shike said as he pulled Nkilu close to him. The emperor embraced Nkilu immediately. "Oh, my daughter, thanks so much for saving my son," the emperor said, and then turned back to Shike and asked, "Since you have been alive all this while, why didn't you come back home? Your mom and I had mourned your death for months, thinking you were dead." "I'm sorry, Papa. I couldn't remember anything. I just remember everything now I saw your face. When we went to the executive meeting that day, I was attacked. The bandits who attacked me hit me hard on the head. They thought I was dead, but I ended up forgetting a lot. I could have been dead though, but it was Nkilu, my love, who saved me that day," Shike said, still in tears. "Oh, my daughter," the emperor said, and embraced Nkilu again. "May the gods bless you," emperor said to Nkilu, showering her with praises. All this while, Prince Ebuka, his father, and the whole village couldn't believe what they were witnessing, that Shike was the son of their loyal emperor, the popular emperor's son, who many people talked about because he was always humble but doesn't showcase himself that much. Just then, Prince Ebuka came closer to the emperor and tried to pretend to be friends with Shike. "Oh, your supreme majesty, we didn't know that your son had been living among us for months. In fact, he had been a good friend of ours," Prince Ebuka said in pretense. "Oh, shut up," I have heard so much about how you mistreat my son. I was told you had given orders to the guards to poison him. You heartless man. I will call a meeting with the other kings from the other remaining 6 kingdoms to see that you and your father are removed from the royal family. A heartless person like you shouldn't be ruining your kingdom, the emperor said. Prince Ebuka and his father began to plead, but the emperor ignored him and left with Shike and Nkiru. Nkiru's mother was so happy with how God had blessed her daughter with a good husband who would turn out to be the best of all. On the other hand, Nkiru's father was so ashamed of himself for having treated her daughter and Shike in such a bad way. He apologized to them and they forgave him. Shike and Nkiru had a grand, beautiful wedding and invited everyone to their wedding, including the villagers who had insulted her in the past. Their story was still a shock to many, and people who insulted her still couldn't believe that Nkiru, the calabash head, did not just marry a mere prince, but the future royal emperor who would be ruling the 7 kingdoms.